I've been doom scrolling on Reddit. It's so hard when your city is on blast. I've been doom scrolling Reddit. It's a sin because I was like a year sober on Reddit, and I'm not trying to trivialize anybody's sobriety. I like am very challenged by how much it's like an instinct for me to go on Reddit. But I'm giving myself a little bit of grace right now. I am mostly on there to read the news. Doom scroll on Substack instead. Have you tried Blue Sky for blogging? Blue Sky is kind of like a little bit of a flop for me. I gave it the honest try, and I think when I was on Blue Sky, I'm repeating myself, when I was on Blue Sky, you couldn't post photos yet, so I was like, oh, I don't care. This is weirdly pretentious for like such the high stakes, because I believe like the Twitter guy, Jack, I want to say Jack Antonoff, Jack Twitter guy, I think he like fucked a really big piece of our democracy by like allowing Elon to have Twitter. So when I went to Blue Sky, I was like, you better be apologizing to me. This shit better be Tumblr. And it wasn't. It was like a very pretentious, weird flop, and like I don't have to play on all these men's social media accounts. Like, I don't have to play with all these billionaires. And that's how I felt about Blue Sky. I was like, you got a lot of nerve being fucking pretentious. Excuse me, I need an invite to use your Twitter clone? No, I don't. I don't have to be here. And if you love Blue Sky and I'm saying something that's not true, let me know. But, I went on there hoping that it would be something, and it just wasn't. It shouldn't be complicated. It should be just really straightforward and easy to use, and to me, it wasn't. I could be wrong. I gave it the honest try very early on. I had to get invited onto Blue Sky from someone else. It was Mr. Alan Fisher, and I just felt like it was weird. Do you remember a couple years ago, Google tried to have a social media that you had to be invited into? And that flopped too. Like, the evidence is clear that flops. Like, Facebook got huge when they let everybody in. Let everybody in. Now, I only use Blue Sky to follow people who left Twitter. It's not that much better. Yeah, I use Blue Sky. There's like a couple DJs. I know how that sounds. There's a couple DJs I follow who went to Blue Sky, which I respect. So I do follow them there. But I don't check it, so if they release new music, I'll get around to it eventually. I'm ready for MySpace again. I know. I think we all miss MySpace because we had so much control. Like, I have no control. Hey, I don't know what we're talking about on Blue Sky. Yeah, I made the Blue Sky. I, checked it out, gave it the honest try, and I was like, I actually don't give a fuck. I don't know. Make Pinterest AI free. Q, in the early 2010s, did you use Daily Booth? That popped up into my head the other day. The daily selfie site. Ooh. No, I've never even heard of it. If it was an early app, I did not get a smartphone for way too long. Which is why I tell people I miss Vine. Like, I missed it. I miss it, but I also missed it. Isn't some AI company trying to buy Pinterest right now? Oh my god. You know what? Go ahead, do it. There's no preservation. There's no preservation instinct for these people who have these giant companies. They're like, oh, sell it. Can you sell it? I watched this thing the other day that Hooters went bankrupt or whatever. And they sold their, like, it was just a bunch of like perverted dads who started Hooters, and then they sold it for, they sold it to probably private equity, which ruined it. And now the dads are like, well, what the hell? I'm like, okay. When will you learn? Why wouldn't they just keep their little fucking restaurant? I just figured out how to turn off AI on Pinterest, and it's been much better for me recently. I think, doesn't the poster have to admit that it's AI though? Don't they have to self-report, or can it like detect an AI watermark? Because on On YouTube and Instagram, I have noticed that there is now a thing you can check if your post or video contains AI content. And I wonder if they are hoping that you self-report. Not a fan of anything AI. Yeah, either am I. I think it fucking blows. I'm glad that it's not getting like huge public support. That's like the only thing keeping me going. Yeah, I'm very anti-AI. I made my Twitter account private. You know, there was no scandal. I think all of us should make our Twitter account private. Even if you have an old Twitter account that you haven't used for 3 years, go log in and make your account private. I can't recommend that enough. I don't really want to go into too much detail with that. It's really, 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 really concerning. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Twitter in-house AI bot can basically do whatever. It doesn't have any limitations. And a bunch of fucking creeps will go under your post and tell the AI to undress you, and it will. And although there's been a mass, controversy about this, nothing has been changed, and I don't know, the people in charge are like, which is super scary. So just go on there and make it private right now. It already happened to someone in Heartbreaker, which is my management company. And it's absolutely awful. Nobody's stopping it. Who can stop it? I thought about contacting my attorneys general because I'd be snitching. And I just thought about it for a second, and I was like, nobody's going to do anything. So I just made my account private. Maybe I should jump into action, and, the wheels of democracy only turn when I participate in them. But I just feel so helpless about everything. I need a win. The UK is threatening to ban Twitter. I hope they do something. I'm sick of threatening. Threatening used to work, and now it doesn't. So make your Twitter account private if you can. Like, if you don't have time to go through it and like index some posts that, the reason I haven't done it is because I feel like I need to go through my Twitter and like look at stuff. And for a while I was really active on Twitter, a decade ago, and I might want to look at that stuff. It's not an emergency. If someone said delete your Twitter right now, I would go, okay. But if you can't do that, if there's sentimental stuff on there for you, or you just want to double check that there's not something on there that you might need, for me, my hard drive has wiped my computer twice. So there's probably stuff on my Twitter I might want. If anything, just make it private, and if there's any weirdos who have followed you in like the last year, maybe soft block them so they're not in there. You can export your Twitter archive if you want. I do it once a month. Okay, so Google that if you need, but in the least, make it private right now. Like, minimize me, do it, come back. I'm so serious. Yeah, man, it's all the fucking worst. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm doom scrolling because I'm like looking for a breath of fresh air, and there's very, very few. So, I'm going to work on that, I guess. But as involved as I feel like I may be, I just also feel like I'm missing something. So I deactivated during COVID. I couldn't handle it. Yes. So I was off Twitter, I think I got off Twitter right away. Like, after he bought it, I think I was there for like 2 months. And I was like, damn, what the fuck? I didn't delete my account, just kind of abandoned ship. And then, a lot of people went to Blue Sky and then left Blue Sky to go back to Twitter. And I think I got kind of caught up in that, thinking like, oh, I'll post some videos and stuff on Twitter and like maybe that'll drive traffic. And the traffic's not worth it, girl. Like, let's be real. I don't want to be on that fucking site. I will say the funniest people on the internet are trapped there. Like, they're trapped in the undertow of it all. Like, they have nowhere else to go and be very, very funny. And that is true. Poor things. If you are very funny on Twitter, I genuinely, you have my sympathy. I don't know where else you can go. Just tweet and screenshot it and put it on like an Instagram aggregator, and then don't post it. That's all I can say for you. I finally got rid of Spotify and switched to Cobas. When I heard people were getting ice ads, I didn't get those, but I was pro metadata sender ads. I haven't heard of Cobas. I use YouTube Music and I really like it. It gives me everything I need for sure. If you feel like you can't keep track of all the companies that you need to boycott, I'm not perfect either, but I do think it's a perfect solution. Like, I really don't think we should be patronizing anybody. I frankly think that we shouldn't be shopping anywhere until somebody fucking does something. I broke out my CD player and iPod Touch. No, literally, you're literally saving democracy. I'm so serious. I am so fucking serious. That one time that one actress said go birds and fuck ice. Thank you. That, like, give me that or a little something. Give me a little something. I don't really do New Year's resolutions. I don't know. I just, like, I don't really think about it that much. If I'm like, oh, I'm glad it's a new year so I can start fresh, that's generally what I like to do. I like to start fresh. But I was thinking I don't want to buy any clothes this year. Any clothes. Thrifted, new, no clothes at all. I don't want to, nothing. I don't know where that will take me because thrifting is kind of like a big social thing. Like, let's go thrifting, girl. Let's bring a tote bag. But I'm kind of thinking I don't want to buy any clothes. Just like I'm going to have what I have, I'm going to make work. And I would like my abstinence from consumption to do something. No thrifted clothes is hard. I don't want anything. Would you do trades? Yes. What I'm thinking is I'm hoping enough of us like abstain from just the market that somebody does something. Like, can somebody do something? Like, that's literally where I'm at. So, I mean, I participated in a no-buy for the last 2 years and kind of eased off of the brakes in September, October. I'm back to the no-buy for the most part, but I would like to not buy clothes. I almost don't want to buy anything that, like, big companies are like, ooh, she can't wait to fucking buy a little thing. Like, what's Target want me to buy? And how can I not buy it? That's how I feel. Low-key, the economy is so bad. My no-buy is mostly for survival. I know. For Christmas, I made everything and got supplies from small businesses. I'm going to try to keep that up all year. Yeah, for Christmas, I mended 3 of John's Carhartt pants and tried to do, like, a really good job mending them. And I framed some Polaroids for us. So I didn't really go and buy anything. I had all the materials. So I'm kind of like on that tip, but like, how do I disrupt the economy? Because the economy disrupted me, girl. The economy has done horrible things to me, and I would like to enact my revenge. And I don't quite know how. Because I'm not shopping at Target. I'm already not. So I don't know. Has the Gap ever done anything to me personally? No. But if all of us don't shop there, will one of them be like, hey, maybe the tariff thing, if you could... You know? I've only seen the tariffs hurt my friends. Anything in particular you did to frame the Polaroids? I have some I can do a better job framing. Yes. So I got like paper like this. Just, you could get stationery or blue paper, like whatever. And then I got these, which they're just like corners. Like, here's a Polaroid. You would put this little sticker and it like goes in this corner like that. See that? And then you would do 4 of them, and then I stick it on this, and then I frame this. And then I just took this piece of paper to the store to find like a cute frame. I got like a multi-pack of these. It came with some flop colors, but it also came with some good ones. This is my planner. I've been trying to make every excuse to use it. It doesn't come naturally to me. It's not a very natural thing, but I am using it. I have the clear cover. This is the Hobonichi Weeks. I was part-time at Lush and wanted to stay on core staff. I did so good and I really enjoyed working there again, and they didn't keep me, and it felt like absolute doo-doo because I did so good and everyone was like, yes, love you, you're awesome, and now I just keep crying, like huge ego hit for real. You were on there for like seasonal, like for Christmas? That sucks. At least like you can try. Could you apply again? Like next time they're hiring? I got a Visa gift card from my work as a holiday gift money, and money's so tight I used it to finally buy a new bra. No, so real. So real. I'll get into it in a second because I took my Hobonichi notes for what I wanted to talk about on stream because I'm trying to use this shit. Stinky, if I could employ you as a seasonal employee, I would keep you on afterwards as well. This is just a daily planner. And this one is kind of like, the beginning is a normal calendar spread and it has strings. So you would do your normal calendar spread, and then the other string I have on my week. And this side is your day-to-day, and then this side is empty. And like cool people will do like drawings here, or they'll talk about like a song they liked or a book they finished, but I haven't gotten into that yet. It takes me like a whole month to read a book, and then if I like new music, I'll listen to it for like 6 months, so there's not like a daily my favorite song. I've just been listening to, I don't know, mixes, little DJs. I guess I could write my little DJ in there. And then this is a Japanese planner. So the other, like, it shows you, this like stages of the moon. But it's not going to tell you like Valentine's Day. You have to add that. And that's fun. It's fun to add it. The paper is like Bible paper. I have to get used to that. Everybody like really likes the paper. I'm getting used to it. The beginning, I didn't realize I could have started in December. It had December. I bought this in like September and was sitting on this, so I didn't realize I could start in December. I'll know that for next year. And then it also has this like psycho, I don't know how to do this, but this is like, I don't know, if you just had one thing to say, you could, maybe if you track your mood, you could draw like a little smiley face, but there's not a lot of room in this. But this is like if you had to see everything, which I guess this would be good for holidays, and you would maybe just color the block in. I don't know, girl. I'm trying my best out here. A lot of people decorate it, but I got the Tamagotchi version, so I'm not going to decorate the cover. But I got a plastic outer cover so I can put like stickers, or I have a Polaroid on the inside. And then the cover also has a pen loop, which I'm really fucking with. And it also came with a pocket, so I've got stickers in the back. Half of my month would be this face. I know. I gotta, Oh, and then there's like some more psychotic stuff in the back. This just says 365 days to check off. So you're like checking off your days. I don't need to do that, but maybe if you're in a long distance relationship, and that's when I get to see them. I don't know. And then there's a lot of free space if you want to draw, write out your feelings, whatever you want to do. Lots of free space. Pretty cool. They make one, so this is called Weeks because of this long week part where you would write your shit. They have other shapes and sizes if that's not how you work. I get a planner every year and I don't really use them. Me too. And my last planner, You know, it was like 3 years ago, but I bought like a $50 planner because I was like, let's go. And I never used it. I didn't even like tap out after the first month. I never used it. I made sure that I like read about the pros and cons of this because I always wanted to bullet journal, and you could literally start that whenever you want. You could start your bullet journal tomorrow. I actually have a bullet journal and I just use it as a scrapbook. I mean a sketchbook. But you can bullet journal whenever you want. But you are in charge of all of the templates. Like, you have to draw everything, which I was really into, but then I realized I just like watching bullet journal content. So this is a little bit better for me. And like, you know, I was just at the dentist the other day. I still put my appointment in my phone, but then when I got home that night, I updated my journal. So I think that's what's going to work for me. Because when I went to the dentist, I was like, oh, I forgot my shit. But that's going to happen all the time. So work around you is my advice. I did get supplies for scrapbooking. So I wasn't sure if I should film it. I might film it for Patreon. I love a little planner you can put in your bag. I just got one from Daiso recently and I'm surprised how much I use it. Yes. Janose put this year for sure. Washi tape is a great way to support other artists, and sticky notepads. Yes. I did go to the stationery store the other day and I got highlighters and they're pretty nice. What did I highlight? I'm fucking with the strings. Without the strings, man, I would have liked a third string. If anybody's listening out there. In February, I started using a highlighter. So I'm trying. Because I write really big. I think that's one of my issues. I'm writing huge. And I can't write smaller. I mean, I've had fun with this, but it's kind of like a little bit of a cult following. You might not be able to get... You might be able... You can definitely get plain. And if you get green, you can just decorate it and put your stickers on it and whatever. I don't know if you can get Tamagotchi. If you were here for stream when I bought this, I had to like email around to find this. So you might not be able to get Tamagotchi. If you really want it, I know scalpers go crazy for this. I bought mine in real life and there were girls there buying 5. I said, girl. So anyway, I'm having fun with it. I think you could find something cheaper. Mine was $37. I think that's kind of high. But I do like Tamagotchi and I'm challenging myself to use it. I just got the Tamagotchi one from the Hobonichi website like 2 weeks ago. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, so I bought mine at a stationery store and they made a huge deal out of it. So I'm not sure. Double check. Okay, forget what I said. Double check. See if it exists. Maybe there isn't a secondhand market for it. Okay, all of my water in my house bubbles. Do you see all the bubbles in it? What is that? Is that because it's too hot in here? Because it's not, by the way. I got a 2-year Snoopy planner for like $10, not a fancy brand. Yeah, I don't think that you have to go super fancy. Like if you have access to a Daiso, I think that's your best bet. It was from Japan, so tariffs, but like I got stickers and stamps. Oh, I really wanted the stamps. So happy New Year to everybody. That is my New Year's resolution, to use my planner, to jam on my planner, and to barely uphold the economy. Barely. I will buy nothing. I will... Okay, so not absolutely nothing. I will purchase things from people. And I think that's the best way forward. I have been on Macari, girl. I think I'm pronouncing Macari wrong, but it's not going to change. It's not going to change how I say it. So I've been on Macari, and I do think buying things from other people who are just in their house, I think is the way. I've heard people give it a Japanese pronunciation, and I'm just very tired. I'm just not going to do it. I think any peer-to-peer purchase, I'm in more support of. Like, I'm meeting a girl from Depop today who I was like, girl, I think I live near you. Do you want to knock this all off? And she said, yes, please. So I'm meeting a girl later to buy clothing. I know I just said no clothing, but it's 2 people. I give you $30. You give the next girl $30. That girl gives it back to me. And that's all. Girls supporting girls. And I'm replacing a pair of shoes that I already own. So peer-to-peer. So in this break, I have been selling on Facebook Marketplace and Mercari. And I'll give you the tea. I have had good success. So I'm currently filming a video that might go on my Patreon because it's kind of all over the place. And how do I even say this? So I started setting up our guest room, and there was a lot of boxes and just like kind of junk in there. And I was like, okay, it's either I take this junk and put it somewhere else, or I literally finally do something with it. So in the video, I challenged myself to either sell or donate everything that I didn't want and didn't have a place. And as of last night, I sold everything. So it was something that I challenged myself to. But I think if you guys have been a stream for a long time, like a few years ago, I had this like evil KonMari theory where you should be punished by your excess and you should have to sell everything that you don't want because it's your responsibility. And then you would be so pressured by that guilt that you would no longer overconsume. I think some people were like, what did Marie Kondo do to you? So I took my foot off the pedal of the evil KonMari method, but I'm kind of fluttering the gas right now. Dark KonMari. So I've been following the dark KonMari method, which is a subcategory of the KonMari method where you have a lot of guilt. Just a lot of guilt. We're talking about the evil KonMari method, which I'll have to change the name of so she doesn't sue me. Marie Kondo's litigious. I don't actually know that. So the evil KonMari method basically is if you overconsume, you cannot dump everything on the thrift store or donate to Goodwill. Goodwill is not your catch-all. So in the evil KonMari method, dark KonMari, what is like kawaii, but there's like a dark kawaii? It's like a subculture in kawaii fashion. We'll call it that when we identify the word. Yami kawaii. So this is the Yami KonMari method. But basically, I was like kind of designing the back room, and I had a ton of stuff back there. A ton of makeup and like PR products. And it might be illegal for me to, not illegal, but it might not be cool that I would sell PR for money because that was given to me for free. One company in particular sends me so much stuff, and I'm like, stop it. Please stop. And I think, and they have. I haven't gotten anything for a little while, but it was just more than I could ever consume, and I just had been storing it in my back room. Just like storing it for, I don't know, it was in my other office and I was just storing it. So I challenged myself to do something with it, and I'm really happy that every single thing I listed on Facebook and Mercari, I was able to sell. And I'm not selling things very expensive. Everything was $20. So it's not that I'm trying to be a millionaire. It was listed for just enough that all my offers would like kind of be serious, but not so much that maybe like I would get scammed, and that I also wanted everything to just go. Like I was not trying to make $1 million. I wanted to get rid of everything. As long as the products are normal, I think PR is fine to sell. Yeah, I don't know if other creators are doing it. Like I have been on Depop, and for a while Drunk Elephant was giving like all of us PR, and this was years ago. And I remember seeing all of it on Depop, so I don't know. But then there was also, and I haven't watched H3 podcast for years. Even like when Trisha left, that was it for me. But I remember there was a big controversy because I think Ethan Klein found a girl from their PR list selling their stuff on Depop, and he made this like huge thing out of it. I do not follow him, support him, think about him, but when I'm trying to pull references for the correct behavior, I do think of that. However, if I'm given clothes and PR, I do think I can then sell them on Depop. I don't really see a big problem with that. I guess if she never wore them on Instagram, she didn't like fulfill some sort of contract. I actually don't care. I think that she didn't do anything wrong. You were getting rid of things in a way that might serve the purpose to someone else. Exactly. You guys might remember I had this like Girl Scout like themed PR kit. It was like all Girl Scout cookie eyeshadows and like stuff like that. And I picked out what I liked from the collaboration, what I thought I would honestly use, but there's just no place in my life for blue eyeshadow. So I did list like what was left over from the Girl Scout makeup. I had like a Wednesday makeup like PR kit. Just kind of things like that where they were like collecting dust and I was like moving them from here to there to everywhere. So it was nice to just like put that online for $20. So I listed them on Facebook and Mercari. So I've had 5 Facebook Market interactions. All of them very good, except one psycho one. Really early on. So I was like, okay, girl. But I will say, if we, everyone has been a girl or like femme presenting except one freak man. Basically, what I do on Facebook Marketplace, I list pretty low and then I will lower my price like throughout the week. And then after 7 days, you have to like refresh your listing, which I think is good because there's people on Mercari that I'll try to buy something from who haven't logged in for 5 years, and I'm like, get this shit out of here. It's kind of my first time being on Facebook Marketplace, but I set up a dummy account and I'm happy that anyone trusts me because it's literally a dummy account, but my profile is like, I swear I'm a real person. I've only sold 1 to 2 things on Marketplace and browse it. Yeah. I've bought 2 things from Facebook Marketplace. I bought a dresser and a turkey melted plastic popcorn. And that's it so far for me buying stuff. I've tried to buy so much on Mercari from people that don't answer me. I know. It's so annoying. At least on Depop, it gives you like a little... I feel like it gives you a little warning. Like, this bitch is not home. Facebook Marketplace was okay. I mean, just, every transaction, I bring someone with me. And I meet in a public place, and I also just like try to be very transparent about my expectations. There's some people who list on Facebook that I feel like have been through the gauntlet because their post is like, don't message me, is this available, or I'll block you. I'm like, what happened to him? So I bring my partner. And I honestly just pick a location where I can give him a treat afterwards because it's nice of him to go with me. He likes those like yerba mate energy drinks. So I'm like, oh, can you meet me at this grocery store? And then I get him a little drinkity. Kind of just like a public place. And so far everything has been pretty good. Mostly all women, mostly buying makeup. I sold my automatic litter box to someone and I'm so happy. Like, it all worked out really well. So I had one of those big automatic litter boxes that's like a big fucking circle and like spins and it goes through like a screen and the waste goes into like a trap door. I got it through a sponsorship, but they didn't approve my video. It looks like this. It's kind of large. It's kind of really big. This is Pet Safe, and Pet Safe makes the other litter boxes that I have where it's like a square and just like a rake goes through it and you have to use crystal litter. I like those. I have 2 of them and I really like them. And then over the break, I got a stainless steel litter box, like a manual, an analog, just like a manual stainless steel litter box. Currently, I have 4 litter boxes going. So this one, this not egg, circle, round, this round automatic litter box. So they sent this to me last year, and I did a video for them. And the concept of the video was like, PB, my girl cat doesn't cover. So this litter box had it covered or whatever, because it spins, so she doesn't have to cover. And this thing is like the size of a yoga ball. It's like fucking huge. And this was last January, so I still lived in my other house, and I set that up in the living room. And I thought it looked cute because I had like bikes mounted to the wall in the background, and I had like a lamp, like a standing lamp and whatever. So I sent it to them, and they said that my house was too cluttered. And I replied, and I was like, yeah, I live in Philadelphia. Like, I live in a row home in Philadelphia. This is what they look like. Like, would an apartment look like this too? Like, Volonius has an automatic litter box. He has the litter robot, and it's like an entire corner of his room. Like, where? Also, mama, like, who else is buying automatic litter boxes if not like people in small houses who like have to save time and they need the litter to like do itself? If I lived in a mansion, it would not be my problem at all what happens with the litter box. So they said that my house was too cluttered and that they wanted me to refilm it, but there was nowhere else for me to refilm it, other than my basement, which would have been kind of psycho. But I don't know. I had worked with them 2 other times before, so I don't know if they had just like a different vision, or just if like they just elevated what they were looking for. But I sent them the video, and I told them, I was like, there's nowhere else for me to do it. They like suggested I do it at a friend's house. That didn't make sense to me. Okay, like, you won't be paid, you don't have to post the video, and you could keep the litter box. And like, that sounded okay to me. Makes sense why those ads are in like unused bathrooms. That seems to be the meta. Like, you ever see someone posting from a gray apartment with no furniture? I think they like set a new standard in like influencer marketing, because yeah, they said that the house was too cluttered, but literally I thought it looked really cute. We had our bikes on the wall. I was like, PB's New Year's resolution is to use the litter box. And like, that is true. I wasn't putting anything on. That's a fact. This is PB. She's my 7-year-old rescue cat. She's come a long way, but she does have a little bit of trouble when it comes to covering. So with the new year, I said, PB, let's make things easier on the both of us, with a little help from the scoop-free Smart Spin litter box. PB loves pissin'. Her name is Pissin' Boy. Oh my god, so I posted on TikTok. I've just been like kind of posting my stories. Like, it'll be like this time last year, and I just send it. I posted, it probably isn't there anymore, it probably expired, yeah. And it like came up, and it was like, remember this fucking skit? This one?
Sarah! Hey! Didn't you see me waving to you? Oh my god, how are you? Yeah, my bathing suit?
I posted that to my like remember story yesterday, and I showed it to John because the last clip has Ethan in a bathing suit. And he was like, is that a voice filter? I was like, what? Are you crazy? What do you mean? I was like, that's a voice I can make. Does John not do bits? No. He doesn't do voices. He won't sing a little song to the cats. I know, I let it rip for him. I was like, that's a voice I can make. Either way. Okay, I can't find the video. I swear it exists. 11. I swear it exists. But anyway, I did a video with the round litter box where I think it must have been December, January, because it was like PB's New Year's resolution. So the company was like, we can't use this video. I'm sorry. Like, this isn't what we were looking for. Keep the litter box. Boop. So I had the litter box rocking for a second, but it is a pretty big litter box, and my other house is pretty small. I had it in the living room for PB, and I felt like she did like it. It wasn't set up like this for the video, by the way. This is after the video. So I had it set up for PB in the living room, aesthetically. And then when they didn't want the video, period. So this is how it eventually manifested. I had it set up for a little while, and PB had to like launch into it. And I was like, okay, that's crazy, girl. So I put a little step stool so she wouldn't have to dive into the litter box. That way she could step into it. Then she would get in there and kick everything out. So I also have the litter mat. Because they put like this little fucking lip on there that's supposed to catch the litter, but it wouldn't, because she would spring out of there like a rocket. So this is like, eventually it turned into this. And you can kind of see the bike wheel in the background, and the litter box is actually propped in front of our jacket closet. I did a video where I organized the jacket closet. That. It's really big. There's a lot of technology in it. So I get why it needs to be this way, and Ethan didn't fit in it, so it already wasn't big enough. And what was actually really cute about it is it had feet. It has like kind of cute little fucking feeties. Little feeties. Underneath, this is like its dirty diaper. This like bag right here is where all the poopy goes, and you pull it out like a drawer. Massive piece of technology. So I had that set up for PB for like 4 months, and I just had to I had to add the step stool. I had to add the litter mat, and the website says that you only have to clean it every 30 days. No, not in my house. So I was cleaning that thing every 2 weeks, and it's really easy for me to clean our current litter boxes, which are like pans, because I would put them in the tub and like rinse them, and then I would deep clean the tub afterwards. It was a whole fun weekend project. But that fucking thing is one piece. The whole igloo has to go into the tub. If I would have frankly waited, this house has enough space and a hose where I can do all that. But in the winter, how do you clean it? So I was having a hard time cleaning it. I just didn't have the space for it, period. So I deep cleaned it, took it apart, put it in the basement. We moved, and it's been in this basement since. And I recently set up the basement so the cats can be down there. It's in my notes to talk about that. If I'm following the evil KonMari method, I have to get rid of the litter box. So I put it on Facebook Marketplace for $50. I get 30 messages in 5 minutes. Mind you, I have like 6 other things on my Facebook that have been on there since December that will get a little nibble, but I've never seen that before. So I look, and the MSRP of the litter box is $400. I said, so when I was putting it online, I was like, I don't even know if someone wants to buy a used robot litter box. Because if you read online, like, how often should I change my litter box? It's recommended like every 2 years. So I was like, certainly I'm already kind of asking for a lot for someone to buy this used robot litter box that could only really last them potentially 2 years. I will say I don't follow the 2-year rule necessarily, but So I put it on there for $50 because I thought that was like a fair price to buy somebody's used litter box. I do think I made a little oopsie there. I think I probably could have asked for like $150 or $1. And of course, now that I posted it, my whole Facebook Marketplace is just other litter boxes. So I put it on there for $50. and a million people messaged me. So I had one other listing when PetSafe sent me that giant litter box, and I really like PetSafe. I really like them as a company. I had a broken part on one of my other litter boxes that I had already had for a while, and they sent me a replacement part for free out of warranty. Like, I do like them. Just like, I was supposed to work for them. It didn't work out. It happens all the time. So PetSafe also sent me toys for the video, and I didn't open them or use them because they were lasers. I don't think, I've read that you're not supposed to play with laser toys with cats. So I just never have. And that is just like my parenting philosophy. So PetSafe sent me 3 toys in box, but they were all like kind of laser focused. So I never opened them. So I had the 3 toys on a separate listing for $25. And somebody messaged me and they were like, I'll buy the litter box and the toys for $65. And I said, okay. But even though I realized that I probably should have raised the price, the thing I was worried about is someone on Facebook Marketplace like flipping it. I like didn't want that. Like that, I didn't want that. But this person, I tried to take like the first person who had messaged me and wanted to do the bundle. And I met with them and they were perfect. They had cat earrings on. Their partner had a sweatshirt with a cat on it. Like, I really think it went to the most perfect person. So I was very happy about that. Some of the people messaged me, like, I got weird vibes from, but I just did, like, the first person anyway. So it ended up really good. And, you know, if I can be the influencer in the community who is getting these objects and then like passing them along, that's fine with me. I was like, do I delete this and relist it for like a more reasonable price? But like, I didn't want to do that. So I was really happy that it went to like another cat owner, because it's just been in my basement for like 6, 8, 9 months, not doing anything. Yeah, someone else can use it. It was funny. We met at like a coffee shop because I've been getting John hot chocolate. We met at a coffee shop. I was like, fuck it, let me teach you how to use this litter box, like right in the middle of the coffee shop. I guess that's like kind of rude, but we were also the only people there. So really positive Facebook Marketplace interactions so far. I was wondering if you gave them a review of it. Yes. So I was like, hey, let me give you a breakdown, because I don't have the box or the instructions anymore, but it is like their most current model litter box. So there's tons of videos online, tons of tutorials, and I had filmed kind of like a general tutorial for them because I didn't think there would be outlets in the coffee shop that we could plug a litter box into. So before I met them, I filmed myself like setting it up and stuff so I could either send this to them or whatever. But yeah, I showed them how to take it apart, put it back together. The design of it is like kind of smart. It has like a top that's held in place with magnets, and then the rest of the mechanism has a clip, and then it has a sensor, so like if your cat is in it and it starts to spin, it will stop. If your cat like pees, jumps out, and then jumps back in, it'll stop. I told them not to put kittens in it because it might not be able to detect it. That's just my personal philosophy. I don't know if the brand necessarily says that, but if they were like, you know how you like create your buyer, I was like, okay, if they're fostering kittens, I was like, leave it unplugged until the kittens get a little bit older. But yeah, I took it apart and put it back together for them. And it had like some extra accessories that I had bought, and I just included all that. So I was really happy it was like the perfect person to receive it. He was just at the vet. He has to get braces. He has to get like a dental cleaning, like a deep clean where they have to put him under anesthesia. I'm not excited about it because of my history. So the only weird Facebook Facebook Marketplace, and I'll keep it. I won't go into too much detail. I mean, I probably will. But so I had a Stranger Things watch. I don't think it's Casio. It's Timex. So a couple years ago, I think it was Stranger Things 3, Timex reached out to me to create some Instagram content for them. And the watch they sent me, like, you couldn't just push the buttons. You had to, like, get, like, a pen or something to, like, really deeply push the buttons. And I messaged them because I believed that I was sent, like, a prototype to take pictures with before the actual product was launched. So I emailed them and I was like, hey, I got all the pictures set up. Everything is good. Just like a heads up, the buttons are really hard to press. I had done everything, and I actually still use the watch that they sent me to this day. It knows daylight savings time and all of that stuff. So I literally only had to set it up one time. So I'm not pushing the buttons frequently anyway. It has like a stopwatch and like different features, but I would never use those. So I emailed them to be like, hey, just letting you know, like, the buttons are really hard to push. Like, I had to push with all my might. It, like, hurt my thumb. And they were like, oh, yeah, like, thanks for letting us know. And then they sent me a new watch. I was like, okay, cool. I kept it in the box. It was, like, the same Stranger Things collaboration box and whatever. And I was using them at the kayak rental because they're pretty sturdy watches. They're, like, the outdoor, rugged Timex watch. So I was using them at the kayak rental and just kept the extra one in case I ever broke the first one. My old roommate started to work at the kayak rental, and I thought I would give him the watch, and then he quit like after 2 weeks. So then I just put it in storage. It was in our guest room in a box with just like a bunch of other things. So I put it on Facebook Marketplace per the terms of the evil KonMari method. I put it on there for like $60 because I was like, I don't know. Put it on there for $60 and then like just gradually lowered the price. One guy had it on eBay for like $200, and I thought that I don't just personally, I was like, who cares? But then like Stranger Things came out, so it was actually like very current, very culturally relevant. But I was like, I don't want this watch. So I had a guy who offered $30. And I thought, okay, sure. So I said, okay, that works. When do you want to meet up? And he was like, oh, I live in central New Jersey. And I said, okay, okay, so the next time you're in Philly, we can meet up. And he was like, can you bring it to me? And I said, no, no, I can't. And he said, oh, okay. Then that weekend, there is a hobby woodworking store in New Jersey. We were doing some work. Like, I don't know exactly what the tool is that John had to buy, but we have been working on our front room. The front room is like completely scary. It looks like a bomb shelter. I'm waiting out the financial crisis in my little bunker. So we had to go to like this hobby craftsman store or whatever. It's called, let's call it Woodworks. Some guy asked me to drive to him so I could buy a vintage Ford hat from me. He lived like 2 hours from me. Yeah, no. Did he not ask to get it via mail? So I had it cross-listed on Mercari, and I offered to ship it, but it wouldn't get there before Christmas. Or he could buy it from my Mercari. I offered 2 options there. But I was like, it was like 2 weeks before Christmas, and I was like, I can't guarantee you that it'll get there before Christmas. I don't know if he was planning to give it as a Christmas present, but I just wanted to say that up front. Because it was like, it was like December 15th, 16th or whatever. And I figured that might be why he was buying a Stranger Things watch. Because he seemed like an older gentleman. Or he's a fan. 11. Okay, so I said, hey, I'm actually going to be in New Jersey later today. I'm running some errands. What part of New Jersey are you in? And he said, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, okay. And he said, what errands are you running? I said, oh, I'm going to Woodworks. And he said, oh, okay. He said, well, will you then deliver it to me? So I looked up his town, and it was still a 40-minute drive from Woodworks. But I was willing to do it. But I messaged him and I was like, hey, I'll drop it off to you, but we can't do $30. I would like to get $50 if I drive it to you. And he was like, why? And I said, well, it's still 40 minutes from me, but I'm willing to do it. I'll already be in the car. And he didn't say anything. And obviously, like, John has his shoes on and he's like, let's go. So I message him and I'm like, how does that sound? Do you still want the watch? And he said, I still want it. And I said, which option do you want? Do you want to meet me, or do you want me to drive it to you? If you meet me, we can still do $30 because I didn't need to go out of the way. But if I bring it to you, it's full price. He didn't say anything. So I messaged him again and I'm like, it's time for me to leave. Should I bring the watch? And he just says yes. And it's so, like, I must stop doing this. I must stop asking people 2 questions in one message because I always just get one response. I never get a message. I never get a response to both questions. Yes, $60 because you're pissing me off. Okay. So he's like not responding. He's pissing me off. John is like outside honking. Not really, but it felt like it. So I put the watch in my purse. No difference to me. And I send him my email because I don't have Facebook Marketplace on my phone. I'm not doing that. So I'm like, hey, I'm leaving. Here's my email. Bye. So John and I take the scenic route to Woodwork. We have a nice time. We're yucking around. And I just happen to check my email because, like, John gets gas and I'm, like, in the car, like. I check my email. I have, like, 5 emails from bro. And the email says, is that you in the black Acura? What? And I reply and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was like, I'm at Woodwork. I think I pulled up next to you. Hello? Never clarified what the plans were, but it was like so trivial. We never agreed. And me just like, okay, so I was like, I replied and I'm like, I'm at least 40 more minutes away. We never agreed to what we were doing. So I took my time getting here. He said, okay. And he kept responding with his phone number. And I was like, there's no fucking way on earth I'm ever calling this guy for any reason. So we get to Woodwork and John goes, give me the watch. And he gets out of the car and I think John is just able to figure out who this guy is. And John knocks on the door. The guy's like, who are you? And John said, I'm the guy selling you the watch. And the guy gives him $30. $30! What a fucking freak. Okay, so he rated me, but I have to rate him back in order to see his rating. And I would just fucking love to know what he had to say about all that shit. Because how dare you? How dare you rate me? You are a crazy person. Yeah, on Facebook Marketplace, you can rate one another. And I usually just rate people with like hearts and smiley faces and I give them 5 stars. But that guy was crazy and I never wanted to interact with him ever again, even slightly. So when he messaged me, he said, would you do $30? And I was like, yeah, because I was under the impression that he would meet me, 20 minutes from my house while I was running errands and it would be no different to me. And I would just pay for my groceries with the $30 he gave me. Win, win, win. But when he wanted me to deliver it almost 2.5 hours from here, I was like, okay, so it's full price if I deliver it. Or I can mail it to you, but it won't get here by Christmas. And then when I was like, I'll be in New Jersey, and I ended up still being 40 minutes from him, I was like, I'm still delivering it to you. It's still full price. But he met me somewhere. I didn't have to do anything different. So I was cool with $30 kind of. If he would have been normal, then it wouldn't have even been a story to tell. If I was like, hey, I'm going to be at the Deptford Mall. Want to meet me at Zoomies? And he said, yeah, that would be fine. But like, to not tell me which thing you were doing and then to just show up right away. Cuckoo. But if I didn't make it clear before I left the house, I was like, tell me, are you still buying this? Do you still want this? Hello? No response. So I put the watch in my purse just in case. And then he emailed me that he was at Woodwork without telling me. Just psycho. If he chooses to flip the watch, there is a current eBay listing for $200. But I was hoping he was giving it to like a kid. It's not up to me to decide what people are doing with their Facebook Marketplace purchases. But all I could think was like, maybe this was a dad who had like 5 days until Christmas to make it work. But tell him you got the watch for the price of a carton of eggs. Please don't be weird about this. John was literally like the watch was in a package that like this, like wide, and John was like, give me the watch, and just like walked over to the car, and it was him. And the guy said, who are you? John said, the guy's selling you the watch. One person was buying like the Wednesday makeup PR kit, and they just like took it, and I was like, girl, let me open it and show you everything inside before you say yes. She was like, oh yeah. I was like, girl, what if it's full of rocks? I would have flipped out. Good for you and John. I don't blame John for getting stern. I don't blame him. My partner would have done the same thing. Yeah, because I was getting really nervous. He sent me like an insane amount of emails that were like all different levels of incoherent. There's just a way that crazy people format their emails that just frightens me. And I was getting very scared. Did you get your 11 tattoo removed, or did you just consider it? So I thought about it. One, my 11 tattoo, in this world, in this horrible world, a little bit my 11 tattoo can kind of have like skinhead vibes. That might just be me being like very overprotective or just like worrying too much. And two, I didn't even watch like the last season of Stranger Things. I know it's really mixed online that it was a big flop. I like Millie Bobby Brown. So I'm just gonna rock it. I don't know. Is 11 still with us? I still have the tattoo. I haven't had it changed at all. I haven't had it like lightened by one session or anything like that. I have a Stranger Things tattoo. I don't mind it right now. I think if anyone ever asks me if it's a skinhead tattoo, I might book a consultation, girl. But as of right now, out of an abundance of caution, it might look like a skinhead tattoo, but I think people know it's 11. And yeah, I didn't watch the final season of Stranger Things. I don't know if I ever will, but I did like season 1. And I think I like the mall arc. Season 3? Season 2? Could you put her in a new haircut? I don't know. Actually, I don't think any hair would fit. The tattoo is actually a little too big for the space it's in. I loved it. Sorry to those that may have not liked it last season, but I enjoyed it and just wanted to throw that out there. Okay. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I've only read reviews online, and they all seem really mixed. So I can't form an opinion. I don't currently have Netflix. Every like couple weeks, John will be like, we really have to look into getting Disney Plus so we can watch the final season of Andor. And I'm always like, yeah. And then he'll say it again, and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, who has a login for Disney Plus that we could use? And I'm like, I don't know. And then he said it to me 2 nights ago, and I was like, go on your phone and buy it. Subscribe to Disney Plus. You can always do that. You are a grown man. Subscribe to it. Truly, I think that like I think in our communities, there's one person who has always subscribed to the service and then everyone else benefits. And that person has always been me. And it's not me anymore, girl. I'm not subscribing to anything else. I got rid of almost everything. Crunchyroll, you're next. You are the master of your own subscription destiny. Truly, I think he just had never considered it. I honestly think so. I think he thought I had to do it. I don't want Disney Plus, and it's for exactly the reason that you think. I thought season 3 was the best, but I did like the new season. I don't think people would think your tattoo was a skinhead. I feel like 11 will be more culturally relevant for people to think of. Okay, that sounds good. I like that. I would give you my account, but I'm in Canada. The only subscription I have left is Max because it's included in my phone plan. Yes, I have Max because it's included in my phone plan, and I have Peacock Plus because it comes with my internet service. It still has commercials, but I am watching Parks and Rec. Disney Plus has wicked terms and conditions, like the person who got injured or died but can sue because of the Disney TOS. That's exactly why I don't want it. I said, that is outrageous. I put my foot down. I wanted to watch, correct me here, Pluribus. It's on Apple TV. My TV is too old to get Apple TV, so I say, oh, okay. I wanted to save up for a new TV last year and just was like, actually, girl, your TV's great. I love it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the premise of Pluribus, so I would watch that. I have free Hulu through Spotify, and I want to get off Spotify, but I like having free Hulu. Yeah. What did I have Hulu for? Oh, Handmaid's Tale. Girl. You can get Apple TV on your phone and cast it to your TV. I don't think my TV does casting. I can't keep reading about shows and books and movies I want to see. It's annoying because I feel like it can ambush your view, and I want to view it on my own, depending on the context, right? I am reading, you guys know I'm reading V.C. Andrews, and my friend, Trinket Trade, hosted a crafternoon. I made this guy. It was supposed to be a monster, and I don't know how mine became bluey so fast. But very quickly, my monster unfortunately became bluey. But my friend Lua was there, and it was at the Philadelphia's horror bookstore. Doodlebop version of Bluey. I know, it really turned into Bluey. I think it's because I gave him the like cat and dog mouth, and because he's blue, I guess. But basically her craft, she gave us these cut pieces of felt, and there were shapes of different monster shapes, and you would trace the monster shape onto your felt, sew it, and then you could, make different faces. And I think my monster, his face is supposed to be really small and up here, like this much of him should have been his face. And then you can kind of see that would have been a normal little monster creature looking. But I made his mouth huge, so he just kind of looks like Bluey. But these are supposed to be horns, and I think I cut them too round. It became Bluey so fast. But she hosted a class at the horror bookstore. And afterwards, the horror bookstore talked to Lou and I, because we're both influencers. And, they asked us what we're reading. And she's reading something pretty current, and I'm reading all of V.C. Andrews' books right now. I'm reading the sequel to Heaven, Dark Angel. And I felt really out of the loop because I'm reading something from the 80s, and I'm not in the current housemaid moment or whatever. But current things are happening so fast all the time. When will we have time to read what already exists? So I felt old and begrudged reading my old gothic horror. No one wants to know that you're reading Flowers in the Attic. Nobody wants to know that. But I'm reading a book called Dark Angel. How badass is that? It's not. I feel bad. They were looking for social media marketing, a social media manager. And I was like, oh, I would love to do that. I asked Valonius what I should charge, and I got back to them, and they said it was too expensive. And that's fair. They're, they're a small business. But that almost happened for 2 days over Christmas break. I mostly read fan fiction, yeah. But, I mean, I don't feel too much pressure to read what's out and what's current and what's happening. I would watch Heated Rivalry to watch it, but yeah, I don't know. I also feel like I feel overwhelmed when I have to like listen to the new album or, anything like that. Did you already talk about the house selling? So our house sold. The house is sold, and I guess it's a really big deal. It came and went for us because the buyer, and this is their right, but the buyer had just like a lot of things they wanted right at the end, and it got to a point where John said no. But the buyer talked, full disclosure. It's not my house. I'm not on any of the paperwork. It's not legally mine. This is John's house. It is his rodeo. This is my first rodeo. This is his second rodeo. So John sold the house. If you remember, someone had bought the house. Well, someone was in the process of buying the house and pulled out like 4 days before closing. They tried to hold the deposit. It was horrible. So after that, you legally have to disclose all of that when buying a house and when your house is on the market. And if you're buying a house, you want to know that stuff. But when you're selling your house, you're kind of like, oh, that's not fair. So at that point, the house had been on the market for over 30 days. So our real estate agent suggested that we drop the price. I felt pretty bad about that because it was through no fault of our own that the house was on the market for over 30 days. But okay. So John dropped the house price $10,000, which is an enormous amount of money to just be like, oh, here's your discount. But you have to do that, I guess, to be like competitive in the market or what have you. And that's kind of like your little, I'm sorry, the house has been on the market for 30 days. Here's a little discount. I'm so sorry. We had 2 open houses and we got a lot of feedback, and 2 people made offers. One offer was nutso cuckoo low. And then the other offer was, one offer was $40,000 under listing. And then the other offer was $10,000 under listing, but we had already lowered it $10,000. John, not me. So, I was like, John, this sucks. I feel like this sucks. Our real estate agent said, fall is the worst time to sell a house. And we knew that going into it listing in the summer, but, we had that buyer. So, our real estate agent's advice was go with the person who had offered 10 less, or take the house off the market until January 1st. She was like, these are my 2 recommendations. Do you want to sell the house right now and take this low offer? Or do you want to wait and sell it essentially when the new season starts and then buyers are picking back up? So John went with the person who offered 10,000 less, and then that's after we lowered it 10,000. So if I say 20,000 less, that's like kind of what I mean. The people who offered 40,000 less were like really weirdly eager too. They like harassed my real estate agent until probably legally, I can't make any decisions for John's house. But it got to a point where I was like, no. I don't think they were flippers. Our real estate agent said that their parents were buying them a house, and I guess their parents were only like contributing X amount. And it seemed to me that, and I'm making all this up, but I'm speculating, but it seems to me that their parents were like, we'll give you this much money to buy a house and then you pay the rest. And they didn't want to pay the rest. So if their parents were like, we'll give you this much, they were looking for a house that they could get for that much. And that's how much they offered us. And we were like, can you meet us here? Like, we can't do $40,000 less, but would you do $10,000 less? And they were like, no. And then they gave us a secondary offer that also was nuts. They only added $7,000 to their offer. And they were like, and then the second person had went to our open house, and then our real estate agent then accidentally ran into her. So I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, she's met my real estate agent twice. Like, that's kind of fun. So we went with her. She put in an all cash offer, which is, I don't know. Our last buyer who backed out, he had a mortgage, like he had to qualify for a mortgage. And one of the reasons he like officially backed out is because he said that he wouldn't get approved for the mortgage, but his mortgage broker was like, no, you are approved. Look, approved. You are approved. And he used an in-house broker with my real estate agent. Like he used the one she recommended. So all of us knew that. So he couldn't use that as an excuse. But when you come in with an all cash offer, then there's no mortgage or whatever. So we went with her, and she got the house inspected, which like totally. And there were like a couple things. We actually contacted the guy who did the house inspection and talked to him personally, just because there was a lot of things that he told her, and then she was like, this is crazy. So then we were like, what was the problem? So there were a couple outlets in the kitchen that she wanted like switched, which is fine. That was easy for John to do. The electrical box, I guess when you have the electrical box from the store and you install it, it has these two metal tabs on it. And you are supposed to like, I don't know, like bend them back and forth and remove the tabs when you are finished installing it. So she wanted the tabs removed for sure. Doink. Then she wanted a radon test. That passed. And then she wanted all the water lines in Philadelphia are lead. Oops. They're all lead. And there isn't like, this is true, by the way. Well, my plumber told me this, and he's never lied. So all of the original like pipes, because, you know, Philadelphia is a growing city. All of the pipes from like 100 years ago, there's no paperwork. There's no paperwork on these pipes. So when a pipe bursts in like an old neighborhood in South Philly, they just have to dig everything up, and sometimes they find things that they didn't even know were there, like other existing pipes. And they're like, oh, that's good to know. So obviously they replace them with like new technology and stuff, but a lot of our city has very antiquated pipes, plumbing, technology. You'll go to a restaurant downtown that says like, don't flush anything besides toilet paper, please. And a lot of that is old plumbing. And those pipes are lead. So if you live in Philly, you got this in the mail. I got it at the other house, and then I got it at this house later. But basically, in a lot of the places in Pennsylvania, the pipes are just lead. So the letter that they send you, it tells you to run your faucet for 3 seconds to clear out any water that has been resting in the lead pipe. And then the pipes in your house aren't lead, but the lead pipe, this is confusing when spelled out, the lead lead pipe that is the first pipe that your house pipes into, this little pipe is lead. So if you can imagine the main plumbing running down the main road, and it all goes off into different homes to give them their water, the little pipe that comes off of the main pipe into your house, that pipe is lead. It's a lead lead pipe. Our house was over 100 years old. It had a lead lead pipe, just like our neighbors, just like everybody else, just like my real estate agent, lead lead pipe. Philadelphia recommends that you run your water for 3 seconds every morning to like flush any settled water or whatever. Do I love having a lead lead pipe? No, it sucks. But if all of us have it, I don't know. So the final thing the buyer wanted us to do was replace the lead lead pipe with PVC. Technically the lead pipe, I'm pretty sure belongs to the city. I don't think it's yours. But you can replace it. Do people do it? I don't know. So we thought about it, and John contacted his plumber buddy, not our plumber. A plumber who does that is also like somebody who I don't know. It's like, it's not your toilet plumber. It's like a different plumber. But he works with that plumber. And he asked that guy, can you give me a quote to replace the lead lead pipe? And he was like, $1,300. And he was like, and you have to help. So $1,300 is a discount. So for like a few days, John was like, okay, all right. So if I dig up the sidewalk myself, because you have to dig, there's like, imagine the scenario I explained earlier. The main pipe runs down the middle of your street, and then the lead pipe branches off of the main pipe. So John would have to dig up our sidewalk until he got to our basement, take out the lead lead pipe, and then replace it. So dig out, scoop out the sidewalk, himself, and then the other plumber would do the rest of the work. It would be $5,000 if John didn't dig it himself. So $5,000. And that's when you're like, for this much lead, girl. So for a few days, John was like, all right. And then like next Wednesday, I can start digging and whatever. And I was like, no. So John contacted our real estate agent, and he was like, no. So tell her no. And I'm really happy with our real estate agent, because she like forwarded me the email, and to paraphrase her email, she was like, you're getting a really good deal. But she was like, she sent this to the other agent, so the buyer's agent. She sent this email, and she was like, might you remind your client that they are receiving a home with handrails that are made with an extinct species of wood. Kindly remind your client that there are hardwood floors throughout the entire house. Maybe then they will reconsider the lead lead pipe. It was so dope. So they came to an agreement that John would fix all the electrical. They would just be cool with the lead lead pipe. Yeah, so to buy this house, I had to sign a bunch of paperwork that I agree, like I consented to the potential of there being lead in this house that is undetectable. Like, It was basically just like, in Pennsylvania, you have to sign that unless it's a new build. Sounds like something a reno company would do. They wouldn't. They would leave that lead pipe there all day, which is probably why Pennsylvania doesn't require you to get rid of it. So they met in the middle, and John fixed all the electrical stuff. I think out of pocket, it was like $500 for John, because he had to get like new GFI outlets for the kitchen, which like I think our kitchen only had 2 GFI enabled outlets, and he made all of them GFI, which like that's probably just code now. So he did that. He fixed the box. We painted the entire house again. We patched drywall, painted the entire house again, and then we finished the basement. We didn't like finish the basement, but we smoothed all the cement in the basement and then painted the entire thing with the Drylock. So I don't know how much money John put into the like final. Oh, I just said like $500. So that's how much he spent. I'm pretty sure that was it. Like, I hesitated because I wasn't sure if there was more to that. So Amy, you better have forwarded the info to the plumber friend here if he still got the job. So we, they like, I think that they wanted us to do it for free, but if it wasn't free, they weren't interested, because we heard that they didn't actually care. So I don't exactly know, but because at first I was in that camp. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't really want a lead pipe either. But they got $20,000 off of the listing price. I think that sounds pretty good to me. And then the real estate agent gets a percentage. The buyer's agent gets a percentage. And then we had taken out a loan for the down payment for this house. So then John paid off that loan too, which was cool. So now we're in like a better place with everything, because balancing 2 houses was fucking crazy. I felt like I was never gonna get out from underneath like all of our bills, and it was really scary. And I couldn't afford literally anything else. After I paid our mortgage and bills for the month, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit. I'm just gonna have a comfortable sit. Turn the lights off. I can see. So now we can like breathe a little bit, which is kind of nice. But things would have been nicer if we were able to get, the original price for the house. That house didn't pay off this house as well. It just, bills will be easy for a little while. And then, of course, all that money is also John's. But that is kind of the story with all that. It was fun, frustrating, humiliating. I'm glad it's over, and I'm glad it like technically didn't happen to me. But it is a buyer's market right now, and for a while it was a seller's market, like especially during and after COVID. It was like cuckoo. The people who sold us this house, the like estate that sold us this house, like had all the cards. And now it's the other way around, which is good if you're in the market. If you're in the market for buying a house, now is the time, I feel. But yeah, I'm glad that's over. Are John's parents still wanting to sell their house? So this has actually been like a little point of contention. John's dad fell again recently because he is a very old man. He's in his 80s, and John's dad fell. But we live like an hour away now. So I would like them to sell their house and move here or close to here. Now John is going like an hour to help them, and the other day John had to do something, just like pick up some milk for his dad, but it was like a few days after he fell, so it was completely justified. But I was like, John, you're gonna have to talk, you're gonna have to have a hard conversation with them. It's kind of like rich for me because I don't have any parents, so I'm sure John is probably like easy for you to say. But like, I don't know. An estate planner would say the same shit and it would be easier for them to say it. They're being paid. So I would really like if they lived closer. Like, I know that like John's dad is like eating TV dinners and stuff, and multiple times I've said like, I make dinner every night. Like, I use fresh ingredients every night. I would happily make a little bit more. It would be vegan, but that would be no problem for me. And they also live in like Center City, so his dad has a really hard time getting in and out of the car. He needs a minute. He can't just like throw his body into the car because someone is speeding down a side street towards him. Like, he needs to like hold on and like ease himself into the car and stuff. And if he moved out of the city, he could get a driveway so he could take his time getting in and out of the car. Or not even a driveway, just live off of a busy street. Like, their street is literally considered a highway. So I've been saying this and I'm a lot more serious about it. But yeah, like on Christmas Eve, their boiler stopped working and it was freezing cold. So John had to drive all the way there to fix their boiler, and John was gone for like 8 hours. And like, I know he's doing something necessary. Like, it is very important to make sure your parents' heat is on Christmas Eve. I'm not upset with you. Like, you did the right thing. I'm kind of just upset with the situation because like, your parents are elderly. The reason their boiler broke is because there hasn't been maintenance on it in like 7 years. More than that. Okay, so I still lived there the last time they had their boiler done because I remember the guy had to come into our room to look at our radiators. And John was talking to his parents, and his mom was like, oh, we just had that done. And I was like, John, 10 years ago. You know, and you can't expect like your older parents, I guess, to do that. I guess. I don't know. But if they live nearby, then like, that was the other thing. John had to go all the way there to bleed their radiators, which takes 5 minutes. So you drive an hour to do something that takes 5 minutes. Like, I don't know. My tired brain read Victoria's Secret instead of Victory Soccer. Would John know people to help? So, John's parents, it's like a whole thing. So John's parents have dogs. So they had somebody who was coming to help, but she asked them to put the dogs away, and they said no. I think that they should move closer, but their house is also hoarded, so I don't know. Me, I'm very lonely on Christmas. I miss my family. Oh, but then also I don't have to deal with this situation, so it's the best of both worlds. Trying to have these combos with parents is so hard. Yeah. John is not an only child, but his other sibling has gone no contact. Sometimes they talk to me, but it's about hair care, and it's very infrequent. Yeah, I definitely feel for people who are dealing with this, and it's going to be more and more common as we're getting older. My parents were teenagers when they had me, so this wouldn't necessarily be a problem I would face. But other people whose parents were like in their 30s and whatever and had them are definitely facing this challenge currently, if they're my age. I tried to talk to my dad about a will, and he freaked out a little. I just had this conversation with my brother. I'm hoping that our public library has like Legal Aid Wednesday. I'm hoping to go there to talk about like my will, because I don't know where to even start. But I would like to start. I reached out to my brother to ask if he would be my executor. And he was like, yeah, I guess. So that was cool. My dad gave me his will for Christmas. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Hell yeah. My parents overcorrected and was so old when they had me that they both died before I was 23. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the other thing. If I had a baby right now, I still think I would be too old. So, skip it. Skip it. Yeah, I asked my brother if he would be the executor of my will, and he said, do I need to know everyone's contact information? I said no. I have to get paperwork in order, but I didn't want to assume you would say yes. I'll definitely do that for you. I didn't know if you had friends. No. I said, you'll have to make the decision to pull the plug. He said, oh man, why would I say yes to pulling the plug? I said, if I was in a coma or brain dead, I'm an organ donor, so you would have to make the call on my behalf. I heard if you're an organ donor and you're the pull the plug type, and if you're in a pull the plug type of situation, they will rush you to get your organs. I said, yeah, I've heard that they don't try as hard if you're an organ donor, so you'll have to feel out the situation, look all the doctors in the eye, etc. He said, obviously, I'm going to keep you there as long as possible. I don't give a shit about rushing to give someone else your organs. I said, okay, good. And then he said, do you want to go snowboarding? He wants me to already die. He wants my organs. My whole family's going on a cruise, and I was like, y'all, please make wills before you go. My dad had to be the executor for his brother, and since then, he has gotten all of his will stuff in order, and he's always telling me the combos to safes and how to access accounts. That's the other thing I have to do. I probably have to like write down my password. I didn't even think of that. It's called survivorship. Okay, so, and this happened to one of my friends, so I do know that this happens. Okay, so if you and your partner or whoever, your business partner, your sister, your nemesis, you get a house together. Okay. So you have your house together. Your nemesis dies. Okay. So your nemesis's estate can claim his half of the house. Scary, right? If it was your wife, you would get the things that she owns anyway. So it would still be your house. Yay. But if your nemesis doesn't want to get married, and then dies, their mom, dad, next of kin can come and claim their half of the estate because it's like a part of, you know, the things that belong to them when they die. So our house is under like a survivorship clause. So if one of us dies, the whole house becomes theirs because we're not married. And you have to ask for it. So ask for it. It's not default. You have to ask for it. And I did. In front of everyone. But no one would get my piece of the house. It'd be weird if my brother was living here with John. Apple has a thing where you can designate someone to get access to your phone when you die. Ooh, that would be easy. Do I set that up at the Apple store? That's why I think my library offers like help with this, like legal aid. Yeah, my uncle has a big master list typed out with all of his usernames and passwords, and that was very helpful when doing his end of life business. Very good to do. Oh, I don't know. I like looked it up, but it wasn't helpful. I don't want to read what could be misinformation online. I want someone sitting at the library to give me suggestions. I saw that you can set up your Instagram if you want your account to be memorialized. Ooh. I don't know if I want that. So my friend they were a couple. And like they bought their house like 10 years ago. So their credit was very new. They were like 25. So one of their dads co-signed the house. It was their house together. and the dad was a cosigner. Okay. So the dad passed away, and his estate, one of their older sisters, came after their house, and they had the legal right to do it. The judge threw it out, but my friend still had to get a lawyer and pay like $5,000 because this psycho bitch was like, oh, my dad co-signed your house? I think that's my house. And it would be like, you want a third of our house, bitch? But they were like, yeah, it was a fucking nightmare. I was like, okay, so that's never going to happen to me. My deed is a survivorship deed. Nobody's touching my shit. Unfortunately, those situations bring out the worst in people. It's like, those are the situations that I feel like get you killed, if I could be so frank. Like, if I had an estranged sister come out of nowhere and be like, actually, that's my house, I would be like, phew, get out of here. I would feel so crazy. No, I wouldn't. I don't have a sister or a gun, but there are crazier people with even more sisters and guns than me. Yes, in Minecraft. I'm not saying I would ever kill anybody, but damn, doesn't that seem like the situation that would get you killed? Why would you do that? Super off topic, how are your braces journey going? Oh my god, crazy. I have a 3D model of my teeth that I'm going to grab. Okay, so I have braces. Here are my teeth. This is the 3D model of my teeth. And this is pretty good. I actually was planning on making a video about my braces, and this is the perfect visual aid. Because my dentist has been taking pictures every single time, and I really didn't know how to ask her for them. So these are my teeth, and I think it's an easier way to see my overbite. See that shit? That's crazy. So my bottom teeth here and my top teeth don't touch each other. This is my bite completely bitten. It kind of looks like rat teeth. This is my bite completely bitten down, and you can see where the issue is there. And then my back teeth do bite. So what I'm getting done, why do I think it looks normal? So here's what is going to be normal. Like that is normal, but then nothing works, which is why I have to get, okay, this is more, it's hard to do since they don't want to be that way. So this is gentle. So as I'm holding this here, you can see that my front bottom teeth are not straight. They come out. They're almost like at an angle. See that? So they're at that angle, and they want them to be straighter instead of being angled out. I don't think you can tell in life that they're like that. In life, they look pretty straight. So my teeth look straight when you look at them. And it's not necessarily that they're crooked, it's just that they're wrong. So my bottom teeth come out at an angle like that. They printed this for me to explain that to me because I wasn't getting it either. So they scanned my teeth with like literally a derma roller, but like without points on it. They just like rolled my teeth with this like device. It was cuckoo. But every detail is there. It's all there. The brackets are all there. I could wire braces onto this, and that would be fun for me. I had 2 appointments that like didn't go anywhere because they want to shave in between my teeth. It's called IPR. Yeah, I want to make a puppet with this. I also want to keep this around in case someone needs my dental records. This is pretty easy. So my dentist wants me to get IPR, which is where they shave in between your teeth. And I said no. And she was like, okay, I have to talk to my professor then if like you're saying no. And I was like, okay. So we didn't do anything for that appointment. And I can only get one appointment a month. So I couldn't come back the next day to talk to her professor. I had to wait 1 month. That's just what it is. So I came back a month later and her professor said, if you won't get IPR, then we'll take your braces off. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm not getting cosmetic braces. I have to get jaw surgery. So it's not like about just taking them off. They didn't do anything that appointment either. But she said, okay, let me scan your teeth. So our next appointment, like we can have a better like idea of what to present to my professor. Cause I go to a dental school. So basically he was like, no IPR, take her braces off. And he left. So that appointment, I got the 3D scan and it takes a while for them to print. So I went back the other day, this 3D scan was printed. Then she could show it to her professor who still wanted me to get IPR, but no one had told me that the IPR would be in the back teeth. So I didn't want IPR because they shave in between your teeth with a file. And my teeth, I think, are cute. They're like round. They're not perfect, but I like that. I don't want like perfect square teeth. You know what I mean? I don't really like how that looks. I like when teeth look natural and just like look like teeth. And when I talked about it on Instagram, this girl who is a dentist reached out to me and she said, IPR is cosmetic. You don't need it. So I was like, okay, I'm standing firm. I don't want them to change how my teeth look. Even when I had my braces taken off, they'll shave like the bumps of your teeth off so they look straighter. And I asked them not to do that. Like, it's a personal preference, but you can't grow teeth back. So if they shave them, are you ever filing your nails and you're like, ooh, went a little too crazy with that? Like, that's how easy it is, but it's your teeth forever. If you go on Reddit, there's a bunch of pictures of people who got really fucked up IPR, so I didn't want it. Also, when they file the sides of your teeth, they become more vulnerable. I drink coffee, I eat chocolate. You know, I haven't had a cavity in like 15 years, but I don't want to risk it. Also, when I was younger, a dentist pulled 4 healthy teeth, so I also don't have a lot of teeth. So I didn't want IPR. It wasn't until the end of the appointment where she was like, he wants IPR only on my bottom teeth, and he only wants IPR on my pre-molars. So I looked at her, I was like, girl, okay, I don't care about those. Why didn't you say that? I thought you were like, you know, changing my whole shit. So finally I agreed to the IPR. So I wasted 2 full appointments not wanting IPR. And a couple months ago, I wasted an entire appointment because a different professor gave my student like conflicting advice. So we didn't do anything that appointment. So originally I was quoted 9 months for my braces, but 3 months are already added to that 9. My dentist went to shave my teeth too, and I was like, no. Yeah, my preference is no, but her professor was like, then take her braces off. So I don't know. Scary man. He was so nice before. But I got my toy. I got my teeth. And it was kind of funny because even though we went through like an hour to get these printed, she was like, shave right here and here, understand? I was like, wow. But she didn't charge me for this, or it's included in my braces and everyone gets one. I don't know, girl. I felt like I got a freebie. But yeah, I'm not super stoked with my braces journey. She changed my bottom wire. My top teeth are done. I'm like, take the braces off. So my top teeth are done. We're only working on the bottom right now. And she changed the wire so that all these two back molar moments get pulled a little further to pull everything, and then she'll have a better idea of how much to fucking shave or whatever. But she said that what she's gonna do is shave practically nothing, tighten my wires. I come back. If we need to shave more, then we shave more. If we don't, then we move on. And I like the way that sounds. How did you get started with this journey? Was it a pain? It's like a really long answer, but basically I had a deviated septum and I went through the process to get deviated septum surgery, and my surgery wasn't that aggressive. So I felt like I was still having breathing issues. And I read that if you have an overbite, it can contribute to like the issues of a deviated septum, and that people will get surgery to correct this. And before I had my deviated septum surgery, this was actually the avenue I was going down, but my appointment got canceled because it was like in March 2020, COVID happened in April kind of thing. So now that my deviated septum is like done and whatever, I had the option to get a second deviated septum surgery or correct my overbite. I thought I could correct my overbite with braces, which would require no surgery, and that was nice. That was smiley face. But they said my overbite was so severe that I would need surgery. I would need jaw surgery. But the jaw surgery will move my jaw forward, and then that opens up kind of your breathing. So if you have an overbite, you can kind of force and kind of feel like, yeah, that does open things up a little bit. So if you have issues snoring, stuff like that, and you have an overbite, it also fixes that. My insurance is covering the surgery, so I must need it because they love denying things. But I started on this journey through all of that. I go to a dental school for my normal dentistry, like cavity cleaning, all of that kind of stuff. And they have an orthodontist. So I made an appointment with the orthodontist. I got assigned a student, and then they took my case on. I pay $135 a month for the opportunity. Have you heard about tongue tie surgery? Adults are getting diagnosed now and they can get it cut. I have not heard of that. Do you have a date for your jaw surgery? I don't. But my student did tell me to like get back in contact with them, because I keep telling her that I'm only approved for surgery through April. And I'm like, girl, you watch the news? But I don't think it'll be April at this point, because it's going to take maybe 2 months for the shaving. What is tongue-tied? Is that real? Maybe I don't know what tongue-tied is. I thought that was an expression. Are you okay with the scar after the Philtrum scar removal now? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm sure people who meet me for the very first time notice it, but I don't notice it because I see it all the time. It's the little bit on the inside of your tongue. Babies can be tongue-tied and breastfeeding is difficult. It's where your tongue has a little umbilical cord. Do I not understand? I have like a little... Is mine big? I think mine's regular. Oh, John just got home. What? Tongue-tied? What? I really enjoy having you back here. This is nice. Thanks for having me. Maybe mine is big. Surely someone would have told me by now. No one here is tongue-tied. I declare. I feel like we talked about everything I wrote down. We added outlets into the basement, which is really nice. Our other basement at our other house, we always talked about adding outlets down there, and then we never did. So over winter break, we added outlets to our basement, which is really good because I put the other automatic litter boxes down there. And my goal is to have all the litter boxes in the basement. I cat proofed the basement. I wish I would have done it sooner, but I had cat proofed the basement in like end of October so that the cats could go down there. Wish I had done it sooner because it just opens up so much more room for activities for them. And our basement, not anymore, but our basement had spider crickets and the cats defeated them. I haven't seen one in weeks. So there was a big spider cricket uprising and the cats defeated all of them. I haven't seen another one, so it's been really nice. So the cats have access to the basement fully now. Our couch from our old house is in our basement. So it has all of PB's stinky smells on there. So I feel like if the cats are as smart as I think they are, that's probably nice for her. But I have a manual litter box down there, and I have an automatic litter box, and I'm kind of just keeping track of the most popular litter box currently so I can eliminate one. And the basement litter boxes are kind of winning, which is great. I didn't think they would go down there. I catch PB down there all the time. She's a total freak, so that's good. So the outlets are super helpful, and then that way we installed 2 boxes that have 4 outlets. Yeah, 4 outlets and 2 boxes on each side of the basement. Did the buyer of the house keep any of the other furnishings? So she didn't. There was some things we left as like a courtesy. Like I left all of my curtains. I actually wanted to take them, and I was taking down my office curtains, and John was like, okay, just leave those. And I was like, oh, they're from Kmart. But we left curtains. There was some courtesy stuff that I left that they then like asked us to remove. So then I took everything. Like I took the welcome mat. I took like all the little odds and ends. But there were things that I left that like are for the house. Like our old dishwasher needs salt. This might sound crazy to you, but we had a Miele dishwasher, and the Miele dishwasher takes dishwasher salt. This is real. So I left her the salt, and they said to take it. So I was like, all right, girl, it's $7 that you're losing. My new Miele dishwasher doesn't have a salt container, so I guess they figured out the technology there. I liked the salt. You don't have to fill the soap cup up all the way because you got all your little salt. So I left curtains. We left the shower curtain. I don't know if she wanted that, but girl. And we have hung out with my old neighbors since, and I noticed that she kept the curtains but has moved the window that they're in. But she didn't want any of the furniture at all. So we had to scramble to get all of that, which was fine because then I set up the spare room with some of that furniture, which was always my goal. But I don't know. We left the desk because they considered it a built-in. After the whole lead pipe shit, I was very scorched earth. I was like, get my fucking desk. But our real estate agent suggested that while they didn't specifically ask for the desk, we should leave it. So we left it. Hey. We left the shelves and the desk. So all well and good that we built this desk. But I think legally we could have taken that stuff. Everything else we took. I left some like quality of life stuff there, and then they asked us to take it. Like I left spare toilet paper rolls and stuff. Not toilet paper. Toilet paper rolls. Um, you know. Okay, sure. I would have loved that shit. This house was full of rugs. I would have loved some hand soap. I don't know. It's their call. Left all the curtains though, and they seem to be appreciating them. Yeah. There was a couple like I left some, like, oh, here. No, like the day before closing, they asked us to go get that shit. Okay. There's like one or two things I also left in the front of the house. I don't want to dox anybody, but I scorched earth. I wanted that shit, and John said no. So. And it's all still there. Think like potted plants, bench, front of the house decor moment items. One of them I handmade. Oh, so the front room of this house was basically outside. So we demoed the front room and we are in the process of re-insulating it. So that's been cool. But we took down all the wood paneling. In my mind, I was like, we'll save it somehow. But it was all water damaged. So no way to save it. Also, we didn't want to save it, I guess. Yeah, we've been pretty busy. I've been trying to stay busy. You know, I went to my doctor and like all that stuff. So try and do something all the time. Had a talk with John, who wants me to get back out there, because you may or may not know, but like my best friend is gone, like ran away. So we had to have a talk about that, which like, how do you meet like another woman who is just like you in your 30s and you've known each other for 30 years? How do you do that? So I went to a couple art shows and a craft day, and I've been just kind of doing stuff like that. It's been cool. I don't know. It's hard to like sell yourself and get to know someone, and like it's not in a like relationship way. Like, not that I'm great at dating, but at least like I understand the methodology to that. But making friends, I don't know. I don't know how good at it I am. Raw friends. Like, you don't start with something. You have to be like, look at me. Like, all of us could kick it, because like there's a starting off point. I'm talking about going to an art show by yourself and leaving with a friend. It's never happened. It's never happened to anyone. My best friend is literally my cousin. My brother's best friend is his cousin. I wish. I recently hung out with a coworker. Feels wild. Also in my 30s. Yeah, I think I told you guys I tried to get a part-time job at my yoga studio, but they're all full. But yeah, I think maybe a little camaraderie moment. So I got a brochure for our rec center, and our rec center offers a lot of classes. They're not free. And some of them are like $200 for a couple weeks or just one. But our rec center offers like a lot of classes. I think I'm going to do it. One, I think it could be a really good video. I've never seen anyone make a YouTube video where they were like, I joined 5 rec center classes. But they have ASL, which I've been curious about. They have beginner Spanish, and then they have super beginner Spanish. I'm pretty curious about that. There's one rec center class where you guys just watch a movie and then talk about it afterwards. But it's $35, so I'd rather do that here. We can do that here. There's an intro to comic book drawing. That one seems really cool. But you have to bring your own supplies. That's fair. Intro to like growing your own food, raised bed, like intro to raised bed moment. ASL, I learned some in college and I loved it. Yeah, my neighbor is deaf and I'm obsessed with him, so I feel like even if I don't do the rec class, it's about time that I learn a couple moments. My coworker said he's thinking about starting a book club with a friend of his, and I'm desperate to join it because I want more connection with new people. I want to join a book club, but if I was reading a book and I was like, oh, I love this shit, and someone else was like, oh yeah, I'll read up to chapter 8 and we can talk about it, I feel like I would be like, I don't know, bro. Or not. Maybe I'm capable. There was a K-pop craft day not too far away from me. I was too nervous to go. I've been telling you, I've been going to these art shows and it does fucking suck. I don't know. I go there and I know I'm not gonna like it. I do not succeed. I spent like half of the one art show waiting to meet the guy who put the art show on so I could like thank him and talk to him. But it took me like 2 hours to finally see him by himself. And I have this big, giant, green, fluffy jacket. And I think that he was drunk at that point. Like, it was too far into the night. And, you know, people were, like, buying him drinks and stuff. So I think he was drunk at that point. And by the time I could finally talk to him, he just, like, he was like, hey. To, like, you know, very consensual, fine, touching. Just like, hey. And then, like, I'll show you the jacket. I have a good creep detector. He was not creeping me. He just like, it's a big fucking green fluffy jacket. And I think he was just drunk at that point. So yeah, he was filling the jacket. So I was like, you know, thank you so much. And he was like, yeah, of course, Dap. And then like, distracted by the puff. I know. I was like, God damn it. I know the jacket is goofy, but it's so warm. And I have this fight with myself every time I'm about to leave the house where I'm like, do I wear the goofy jacket that is warm? Or do I wear a more practical jacket that is also warm, but not the warmest? Do you know what this is? Every picture is like pixelated. Do you know these? Booba. Humba. I feel like that in this jacket. And it's true. I am them. I'm the forest green one. Mr. Alan Fisher had me over for New Year's. And this is me. This is the picture. Full boomba. Fully. Booba. Every time it's cold though, I'm like, give me the booba jacket. Give me that shit. And their videos are very calming. Very relaxing. I put one on and he said, turn this off. And I was like, wait. Let him spill. Booba jacket is freedom. It is. But very distracting. When I was trying to communicate, little communication moment, couldn't do it. So I've been putting myself out there. It's humiliating. It's a humiliation ritual. I feel good about the rec center classes. Maybe I'll just take 1 or 2. I think ASL is $130. That seems fair, girl. I just worry that there won't be any young hot people there. It's a big risk. Or I'll be the only bitch there. And, I mean, I don't know. Let him speak. Booba. Humba. So I think I'm going to do rec center classes. I've been going to the art shows. The gallery got shut down 2 days ago, so that's done anyway. Somebody reported it to LNI, and they closed the gallery. And it's kind of funny. I was there with my homegirl, Trinket Trade, and they had a propane heater. And I said, oh, they really need to exhaust that. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's a different kind of heater. And she was like, oh yeah, maybe. And then L&I closed them down. I was like, so L&I is licensing and inspection. They are the people, if you opened up a food cart or something, they would go, okay, do you have a license do you have a business license? Do you have a food handling license? Like, they're the inspectors. Mine, thank you so much for following. Or Miniga, I got you. Yeah, so L&I is licensing and inspection. One of our neighbors at my other house built an illegal roof deck, and our block captain reported them to L&I. Was it a guerrilla marketing kind of art show? It was cool. So they would do submissions, and local artists could submit their pieces, and they would take 100 and then gather them for a month. And then at the beginning of the next month, they would have an art show with all of the pieces. And then they would also have like an open bar and activities. And all the art pieces were on the wall. And you could buy them. They stay on the wall until the end of the month, until the next art show. So I was like, yeah. And I also wanted to speak to the owner because I was going to submit something for February's art show. So I'm also a little upset that I can't do that now. But the art show that I was at, people were loud and drunk, and it was a row home that was converted into a gallery space that I believe still had an apartment above it. So, I mean, if I, no disrespect, I know this is a public forum and I'm speaking publicly on the internet, which lasts forever. I had a great time at the show. I wanted to become an artist at the gallery, 100%. And Trinket Trade and I were also organizing a class to host there. So now we had to find another venue. I'm not talking shit. I'm not trying to be shady. I just think that their last gallery show probably just got too big for itself, which is a good thing. Hopefully they're able to open up another space. But yeah, it was kind of a guerrilla space. I don't know where all the money came from. It was like 5 people who went in on the gallery. I honestly think they were paying for it themselves, which I really respect. I did reach out to the owner about the closure. Rob, hey. So if there's any way I could help, I had told them that they could also use my paint sprayer if they need to turn over the area, the gallery, like if they're being evicted. So I'm trying. I'm just explaining to you guys why I think license and why L&I closed them. Probably somebody complained. So I do believe they can't afford to fix the things that L&I closed them for. I had John, because like L&I will close you and they put like a thing on the door of all the things that you failed inspection for. And I had John look at the poster and he was explaining it to me. And it was like a lot of occupancy issues. So they can't pay for it. Like they can't afford what they have to do to bring this space up to code. So like maybe because I don't know if they need like a license for how many people are allowed inside, or like if someone has to come and designate that, or if they need a license to, I literally have no idea what they need. But it seems like it's very expensive to remedy what's happening. So they might just be looking for a new space that already is a gallery. Because I don't know what the building was before they opened their gallery space in it, but it's starting to sound like it was maybe, I don't know, maybe it was like a restaurant or something before or something and was never meant to be what it is. Yeah, it probably has to do with the fire department or like the number of occupancy, something like that. So I think somebody reported them because they opened in November and they had an art class that I didn't go to because it was the day it snowed. And now the one girl who hosts the art class found one of the attendees to host it for her now that like the gallery space is no more. I thought about reaching out to her and offering to host, but that was way too eager. I was like, I actually don't feel that way. I actually don't want to host this. I don't know how anyone would get here, and I don't know how I'm getting to the next place. I feel bad because I've been way too fucking eager this whole time, and I just don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm being parasocial or if I'm being a normal person, and it's kind of hard to figure that out. I don't know if the gallery space is like, this one girl messages all the time asking how she can get involved. I'm gonna hit her with a hammer. Or if they're like, yeah, thank you. So I'm either making friends or I'm a swim fan. I have no idea. I'm trying. And if one day they're like, that girl's a fucking freak, I'll just be like, I don't know. You need to be annoying to make friends, otherwise they forget about you. Yeah, I need to be like, oh, we're still meeting up? Okay. The one girl like told me what neighborhood she lived in, and I remembered, and then I messaged her the other day and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be in your neighborhood, like buying stationery if you're around. And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, I'm either being parasocial and weird, or she's not around. Maybe it just wasn't available. No, I know. Probably not. It's probably the simplest answer. But what if it's not? What if I'm like cringe? I literally think, except for the news, that 2026 is going to be my year. Because it has to get better. This was awesome. I will be back on Friday. Streams have returned. And I'm back to work. You know, I've been doing a lot of background stuff, and I hope that that shows and that I've created a stable foundation for what is to come of this year. Yeah, like against all odds. So when you're like, damn, this bitch took like a whole month off, I'm like, I hope you don't mind. The stakes were literally very high. And I couldn't fake it. I couldn't have come on here this coherent 2 weeks ago. So I think you guys gave me exactly the amount of time I needed, which I really appreciate. And forcing it would have been terrible for everybody involved. So I hope everybody had a great new year, you know, and that everybody's starting things off on a good foot. The best you can do. What else can you do? You know, go to bed early, eat your fiber, spend less time on your phone. What else can you do? But I will see you guys on Friday, and I hope everybody has a really nice week.